So today we're talking about healing through our own actions. Okay?
Yeah.
And with that being said, healing is not just something that happens to us, it's something we consciously participate in, fully, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And so it is a courageous act of showing up for ourselves, okay?
Yeah.
Moment to moment, with love, patience, and intention, okay? Every choice we make to pause, to breathe, to forgive, to rise becomes a vote for our wholeness,
Mm.
okay?
Mm.
So I don't know if you want to start with that first or start
Oh
with
my
an
gosh,
introduction.
Margaret, I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, yes.
Yes and yes.
I'm like, fuck yes.
Okay. There it is. There it
Oh my
is.
God.
Okay.
That's so amazing. I mean, right here, there's a couple of things that I have right here. I have this book by Bell Hooks that I really love. And
Okay.
New Visions. It's called New Visions. This is a favorite book of mine. It's a textbook in one of my classes, but it reminds me of what she talks about in her book, Love Ethics, right? In All About Love. In this particular book, she talks about love ethics. She talks about love ethics in her work, but that what we really need is love ethics. And that, I love what you said because it's, one of the greatest healing powers that we have is love, of course. And she says in All About Love, New Visions, which is the name of the book,
Okay.
which is the name of the book, and it's by Bell Hooks. And she says that love is an action word, and that's really what we're being called to do right now. But she also says, love is not easy. It's there. I don't know about you, but all my experiences of love have taken like real love, take effort and staying power and steadfastness and care and commitment. And I think she says here, embracing a love ethic means that we utilize all the dimensions of love: care, commitment, trust, responsibility, respect, and knowledge in our everyday lives. And we can successfully do this by cultivating awareness. Being aware enables us to critically examine our actions, to see what is needed so that we can give care, be responsible, show respect, and indicate a willingness to learn. And I think we're, kind of a bunch of know-it-alls, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I think experts, like there's a lot of experts and everybody's kind of an expert. And I love like X and spurt. Well, I'm an X and a spurt, it's like, oh, okay, that's great, instead of expert. So my curiosity is around this. I mean, I feel like this is such an exploration for me, Margaret. Like this is, every day I am learning and I am a learner. And, one of the things that compassion means to me is like, I'm learning, you are learning, everybody's learning. And we're all like kind of fucking it up all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we're all just kind of doing our best. And, in recovery, we say like trudging the happy road to destiny, Um, so I think that this is a really powerful conversation that healing is, it's action, but it's action from the heart, you know. Um, in the Mayan culture, we have like 80 words for heart. 80 words for that mean heart, and it means the heart in different states. I've done some writing about this. I'm working on a book right now about a sacred bird in the Mayan culture, but in it, I was thinking about the heart, and and I'm doing some reclamation work also around my Mayan heritage. And I also found my birth father recently. And so I've learned some things I didn't know. And so there's that's a whole journey of its own. But I think that there's 80 words for heart is really powerful. Like my heart is shaking. My heart is grateful. But in the Mayan culture, there's a belief that every heart is a book.
Mm.
And that the gods eat poetry, right?
Mm.
So the gods eat poetry, and that you have to feed the gods every day in the Mayan culture. So you have to write poems every day. Every day you have to write something and offer it to them, or, write your glyph or your offering to the gods, because they need that connection. And that poetry is that connection to the scribe, who is the sun.
Mm.
Right? Who's making notes of everything. So when we talk about, healing as an action word, I first and foremost go to the Mayan prophecy, which says time is art, and time used to be money until 2012, and then it shifted into, now time is art. And so the important thing in our actions as healers is that we're creating. That we're making something of our love, that our love isn't words, our love is our actions, our love is on the page, our love is in our body movement, in our dance, in our speech and right action. It's, it's in making, these little movies, right? Like we're making a little movie, which is a piece of art. It's its own little piece of art, right? And you do these. This is part of your offering. This is part of your healing gift. And so I think, for me, when I think of healing as action, I think about what art am I making? And am I aligned with the sacred? And the sacred is what we're making. The sacred is, right? It's what can I make that can have a positive impact? And am I tracking my impact? Am I actually tracking what the fuck I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like, what is the impact of what I just did 5 minutes ago? And, and on not only on myself, especially not only, but on my environment. And there's so many things I want to say about this, but one of the things that, okay, I'm just like, oh my God, Margaret, don't get me started. No, okay, go ahead and get me started. But one of the things that's important is that, the earth gets sicker if we don't fulfill our life dream, right? It's just like, right? So the earth gets well. It's like our healing gift needs to not only be for the human beings, but, we're a part of the earth. We're a part of the earth's mind and heart and being and spirit. And we're like in charge of some of that. Like we have a responsibility for, as Mary Oliver said, our place in the order of things, our place in the, right? Just like, in the order of things, we're a part of her mind and her consciousness. And so the key is, I think one of the things is that nobody remembers their dream, right? We've been put on little hamster wheels, like the little, the little rat race where, like, they got us lined up with a little finish line that keeps moving, it's like, you think you're like, oh no, you're actually not getting there. You're right. And so it's like, it's this carrot that we never on a stick, and, and the stick goes away when we die, so it's just like, what is happening? Right. And the carrot was never really actually a thing, Um, so, my belief is that we all come here with a dream, and that dream is healing. That dream is like our healing gift to the planet. And we're being told and educated to do these things, right? We're being educated to, like, well, you go into this office and you do this thing, or you get this job, or you get this degree, or you get this. I wrote a piece when I don't know, I was in my 20s, I was really young, about how, a PhD is a cloaking device for It's something to like hide ourselves, but our authentic selves behind some role that somebody made up that's supposed to be important. So yeah, so I'm just, my focus at this time with all of my work is to help people remember their dream, and it's so that the earth can be healed, you know? And that's a process. Oh my gosh. Right? Like that is like, what is happening right now? Yeah, it's quite a process. Um and so I don't know, Margaret, if what your ceremonial life is like, or if you have a ceremonial life. I think it's so amazing that we are like right here, at the Day of the Dead. Like this is a special day in many, many cultures globally, um, and so in Mexico, we would, right now, what we are doing is we're honoring the children or those who are yet unborn or those who didn't make it across. And then November 1st and 2nd, we go and we clean off the gravesite, and we make little altaritos and, bring like things to our loved ones. Um, and we can walk with those ancestors and we get to be with them during this time, which is something that's so, so precious. And, um, like for me, it's like to invoke someone is to ask them to not only be with us, but it's to ask them for something, right? So I think like when we're invoking someone or, during this time where, we can be with our loved ones and be close to them, to recognize that, we're asking them for something, but they're also asking us for something, right? And I was taught, I'm also part Basque, and I was taught by my Basque mentor that, our ancestors are saying, are you the one who will break the negative ancestral patterns? Will you be the one to to set us all free from these negative ancestral patterns and bring forward what is good of the lineage,
Mm,
right?
mm.
So what is good of the lineage that I can bring forward, and how can I break patterns? Like in my family, there's, alcoholism and addiction, and, there's some really, really difficult things. And so my work has been to break those patterns, but also to go, oh, well, uh, what is good of my own heart that I can bring forward, or what is good of my own life dream that I can bring forward today, just for today. Maybe I don't feel like I have anything to offer some days. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just, you know, I feel, like a desert. I mean, I love the desert, don't get me wrong, but fuck, sometimes you're just like, but it's just like, oh, it's so interesting to me. Like, no matter how exhausted, no matter how, you know, beat up I feel on any given day, no matter how exhausted, there's just these seeds of love in me, and and I just want to plant those seeds like more than anything else. I just want to, plant those seeds and like and have those seeds like flourish in my life and in the world. And you know and it's, I mean, it sounds very tender, but it's also it's warrior work. I mean, love is warrior work. This is fucking hard. And so how to keep that warrior and that love together, I think, is the real healing work. And yeah, and I know you're a warrior. You're a warrior, and I mean, you have a history of leadership that's so powerful. And yeah, I would just be so curious to know about your experience of love and leadership.
It comes from within. It comes from within.
Yeah.
I mean, I have demons too because of, past trauma, from my childhood, but
Mm.
the good outweighs the bad. And when this darkness comes, I always look towards the light.
Mm.
And then my heart leads from there.
Yeah. And who I just feel like I really want to call in a couple of ancestors. And in Mexico,
Go
we do
ahead.
is when we
Go
call them
ahead.
in,
Go
we say
ahead.
presente. Is there anyone you would want to call in or
Well,
think?
my mother, I never really knew my mother, okay? She's schizophrenic and she gave me away at 3 years old. So
Mm,
I don't know anything about her at all. I would just love to know what time a day I was born on the 24th of May. If I knew that, that would unlock a lot of secrets for me.
wow. Wow. And so then we would say presente, which means please be present. May Margaret's mother please be present. And then I think I would say Angelus Arian. She was my mentor. She was also Basque. And yeah, she was a mother, like a mother figure and a mentor figure uh, who showed me what it means to be a teacher in a good, true, and beautiful way. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So presente, Angie. Presente. And Beth Cruz, Beth says, oh, Beth, you were adopted at 5. Wow. Yeah, she was adopted at 5. What happened after you were adopted into did you get adopted into a family or into a blood relation or what happened for you?
What happened was I don't know how my father met her, okay? Um, but I'm assuming that her and my stepmother were friends, okay? And my father decided to have a sexual relationship with her outside of his marriage. It wasn't the first one, and it wasn't the last either. So once he got her pregnant, I guess he just decided to move on to the next woman, okay? And so I guess she had more than what she could handle. It was my older brother and me. Okay. So she decided, okay, I'm gonna send you down to Detroit and let your father figure this out. Okay. She was smart enough to do that, which is fine
Wow.
because, because if you were mentally, unstable or whatever, how can you take care of kids if you can't really take
Yeah.
care of yourself? Right.
Yeah.
So she did the right thing in that respect, but then I went from the skillet into the fire. Okay, when I went to go live with my father because he was a narcissist. Okay, and
Mm,
he was a womanizer, and I believe he was also bipolar. Okay,
yeah. So there
so
were
he
some
go
mental
off at any
different
time.
mental
Yeah,
issues, yeah, happening.
yeah.
Well, Margaret, you and I have a similar kind of history, except I was sent to my mother. So I stayed with my mother but my father was, also very much had many, many, many affairs. And I have a sister who's like my exact same, she's 3 months older than me, so it's just like the dual families, how people will yeah. And that was before polyamory, so it wasn't really looked on with you know, um, so I think that it's just so interesting because our conversation is healing, right? Through action.
Right,
And that,
right, right,
yeah, how do we, the beginning of our lives, it's like one of the things my mother said, well, at least you were born out of passion and not out of boredom. you know, so there's something to that, right? Like, oh,
right.
but
Well,
uh,
we got a saying, you got to laugh to keep from crying. Okay,
right,
for real,
right.
seriously. When I look back, I'm like, wow. And if it wasn't for all of these experiences, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I hate
Yeah,
to say that, but it is because of these things.
yeah, yeah. And I think that, for me, facing healing was so terrifying. Like, I really thought that if I became embodied, that if I landed in my body, I mean, there were times when I really thought during my healing processes that I would seriously fucking die. Like, I was like, I will die if I feel this pain. This pain is going to kill me for sure. And I don't know about you, Margaret, but I have this feeling of like falling backward. Like when I was in the deep work, and I would just feel like I was falling backward and that I would never land. And that was just so terrifying for me. But what I learned is oh, I had to fall. I had to be willing to fall. And I had to be willing to not find the ground. I had to be willing to, and it's so interesting, Margaret. I never did hit the ground, in all those years of falling. So,
What it reminds me of is like taking the leap of faith. You taking that leap off that cliff, knowing, trusting in your abilities, in your values, in your gifts, that you will not fall. Okay. And that's what most of us are afraid, to take the leap of faith off that cliff. We don't trust ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
And once we're willing to let go and take that leap, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah. Damn it. No.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Every time.
Oh, you are not wrong. You are not wrong. Correcto mundo, amor. Let's see. I love what you're saying about the leap of faith. And I think that is what, if we're talking about healing, we're also talking about the arts, right? We're talking about healing arts. And I know that there have been times during my healing where we're just writing, like doing morning pages, like Julia Cameron talks about in her book, to do morning pages. And I do these morning pages and I do them every day. And it really has been a source of like coming to know myself and coming to trust myself more and more every day. And, in my culture, we have a lot of tracking devices. And so there's some tracking devices that I work with that are around trust, right? And so one of the things I ask myself is, oh, am I more trusting of the community than I love myself? Do I not trust myself as much as I trust my community? Or do I trust myself more than I trust my community? Or do I trust my partner or my friend more than I trust myself? Or do I trust myself more than I trust, right? And instead of going, oh, well, my discernment is such, like it's a discernment check, right? Like my discernment is such that I can trust myself. I can trust the relationships that I have in my one-on-one relationships, and I can trust the collective or my community or the circumstances. And so that's one of the gauges to see if I'm on track or if I'm in alignment, or, if I can make that leap of faith safely, like, oh, I can make this leap of faith because, oh, I've used my discernment to make some good choices and I've created a container where it's safe to love,
You talked about that, safe to love, and this probably has a lot to do with the love ethics that you talked about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to talk more about that?
Yeah. The care, communication. I want to make sure I get her words right. I teach a leadership course, Margaret. I need to have you come and talk at my class. They would eat you for breakfast. They would love you so much. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm teaching it with my daughter, Shona Christie. She's amazing. So, but one of the things we do is we choose a leader to walk with throughout the year. So we look at we'll read their work. We'll, if there's videos available, if there's any biopics, or it could be, like a grandparent, or it could be, right. It could be Gandhi. It could be, right. Bell Hooks was my leader last year in the class. So I was just like, She's so amazing. But I just loved walking with her for the year. But embracing a love ethic, so it means care and commitment, trust, responsibility, and but caring for someone or for something. I really appreciate um, that when we care for someone, it's an investment, right? So something else we're taking from something else that we would be doing if we're caring for someone. So we want to make sure that there's this reciprocity piece, that there is this, ability, at least for me, I really need for there that to be that give and that take and to feel a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. And um, one of the things that we talk about is feeling regenerated. And I know if it is a good connection for me, if it's regenerative, right? If I feel regenerated when I go out on the porch afterward, I feel regenerated. Maybe I feel vulnerable. Maybe I feel a little crispy. Maybe I feel, maybe I have a, a myriad of mixed feelings going on in my body and in my being, but I'm in my fucking body, which is great. And I'm standing there going, oh, that was a great interaction. I feel regenerated. I feel refueled. I feel refilled. Right. And communication sometimes is hard for me, Margaret. I don't know about you, but sometimes, it's just like, oh, I don't think I communicated that the way I wanted to, or, oh, I may have missed something, or, so I really, I love relationships, but I'm also an ambivert. So I need my alone time. I meditate in the morning and I go outside and I do my morning prayer. Like that's also a healing action that I take each day. And so that's care of myself. And then after my meditations, after my time with Wakantanka or Creator or Tunkashila or Dios, then I come back in and I do my morning pages and I meditate and I do my recovery meditations and then I'm ready for my day. But I have to have like that deep, like internal care. And then I can extend it. Then I'm in a good mood. you know, but until I have my time alone, it's like I'm a true ambivert where I have to have the time alone in order to have that really enjoy the connections because I have to know who I am and where I am first. And right. And I don't know, for
Yes.
me, that's constantly changing. Like I'm constantly letting go of old identities and old ways of thinking and being, and I'm constantly changing and things are different today than they were last year, I hope. You know what I mean? So it's just, this commitment and care. I think those things go together, and that they also really involve boundaries and being able to have like clear limits and boundaries with people, and so that I can have that space that allows me to be the person I fucking want to be. Like, does this allow me to be who I want to be? Does this give me the energy to, do my work, you know, to be in my work beyond my role, right? Because I have a million roles, right? There's a lot of roles, and I love my job. I love being a teacher. I love being a mentor. I love doing one-on-one work. I love being a visionary. I love that, I have visionary gifts, and I love the spirit world. I love being I love all that stuff. I love being a partner. I love being a friend. I love, but beyond all that stuff, who the fuck am I? You know, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
at the end of the day, between me and Tunkashila, between me and Great Spirit, when she like who am I really? Like who do I want to be? As I think that's the real question for me around love. And she also says, responsibility. And I love that word. Isn't that great? Like to respond
Yes.
with ability. Like, am I responding with ability? Well, most of the time I do, except when I don't. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely
Yes.
doing it unless I'm not doing it. Um, so I think that there's something really important to just kind of be realistic because of course the next thing that she talks about with love ethics is respect, So, do I respect myself enough to be able to respond with ability and to understand that I'm not going to be able to do that every single time and that is okay. But she talks about affirming our interconnectedness with others, right? And oh my God, I love, uh, uh, eh, she also talks about like these bullshit books, like, women are from Venus and men are from Mars. Like, he's like, she's just like, he is kind of nuts. Like, men and women do not need different things and everybody needs love and we all need to practice a love ethic. And men are just like not in some, ivory tower somewhere and they're patriarchal whacked off, thing. Like we need to come together in a collective, and I was talking about this to my students last night um, in my spiritual identity course about how we're tribal creatures, we're pack animals. We live in villages, we make apartment buildings, we want to be together. Like we want to, at the core of every community, of course, is we want to look out for each other. Like, and so I think that, um, she talks about like knowledge. One of the other love ethic uh, uh, actions, as we're talking about in, in this particular podcast, um, is knowledge. And so also like to gather knowledge I think that there's something about curiosity that is really important for us at this time. And so care, commitment, trust, responsibility, respect, and knowledge in our everyday lives. Yeah. So how can we successfully cultivate our awareness is what she's asking, so that we can give care, be responsible, show respect, and indicate a willingness to learn.
All of these things you're mentioning are values.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when we align with our values and who we are and what we want,
Yeah.
how can we not come into our power and become the person we are meant to be?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that this is one of the blessings. Like, the people that I admire the most are people who are speaking truth, you know, people who have the courage to write it and to speak it and to paint it and to dance it and to like that's risky stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's so risky. Like that is really it's really risky to like bring bring your voice from its hidden underworld and to be visible and to risk exposure, you know?
That's when we come alive and the world come alive as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's time to start being who you are. It's time to stop being afraid. It's time to show up and
Yeah.
show out.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like, I think it's time for us to shine each other like diamonds. You know what I mean? Like, shine on, you crazy diamond. Like, remember that song? It's like, yeah, but we need to remember that it's our work really to shine each other and to glow each other and to, and to like, I was taught by my family, I have two mothers. Um, and I mean, I was taught by both of them, just give away everything we've given you. Like, there is, like, I think there was something about when I started hearing about intellectual property, I was like, what? Like, nobody wants to share anything. Everything is like, it's like, but I was taught like everything we learn to give away to future generations. And then hopefully they will improve on what we did, right? We don't keep it
Who,
for,
you're
yeah,
right, but who's teaching that nowadays?
right. I am. You are. Yeah, I mean, but and people like Bell Hooks and right, just like we have to give away, and a lot of like uh, the people who remember the ancient technologies, right? And I call them cutting edge ancient technologies, right? It's just like these are cutting edge ancient technologies, and these are simple basic truths. It's like we're interconnected. What we do and say impacts all of the other creatures in the entire world. You know, try not to step on people, places, and things. Like try not to hurt people, places, and things. Try to uplift, to care for, to love, to to bring healing, right? To these ruptures and to repair any damages and, yeah, to come in a good way,
It's also a part of healing ourselves.
Yeah. 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 And I think there's also just something about a respect and a reverence in the Lakota culture. My Lakota mom, Barbara means Adams, from the Oglala Lakota Sioux Makaha band, she talked about something called the order of things. And the order of things is like the real order of things, right? And so Great Spirit is at the top. And then there's an order of things, like there's the sun, and then there's energy, and then there's the moon, and then there's the buffalo, and then there's the bear, and then there's the lightning, and then there's right, and then there's there's four aspects to the human soul. So there's like the spirit eye. So I'm not going to name them all here, but there's a very specific order of things, and then the human being is at the very bottom. And we're right. But the soul, the four parts of the soul are a part of the creator and the lightning and the sun and the moon and the right. So, but what we've done is we flipped it. And she talks about this. She talked about this in her book. She talked about this, like how we flipped it. And now we have the human being at the top and we have Great Spirit at the bottom. And so we have to like correct it. Not that it's hierarchical, right? It's more like it's a round ideal, and it's a round cosmology. It's a circular cosmology, but we need to develop and remember this relationship with this being that is making the world do all the things that it's doing. And we are a part of Great Spirit, and that's something that's true, is we are a part of the creator, but we also recognize that the lightning has more power than we do, and the sun has more power than we do. And right. So, and then we go to those places and then we want to gather and receive power from those places so that we can bring the dreams alive to the earth that will bring healing to the earth. Right. So that the earth can have her dream. Unchi Maka has her dream, the dream of the earth. And we're not helping. We're not helping.
No, with all the chemicals we're putting in the air, all the chemicals we're putting in the water, all of the garbage we are accumulating, and there are plastics and everything else, we are destroying the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And Eric says, be creative anyway. I love that. There's this great, I think, oh my God, there's this poem that Angelus used to quote. Yeah. Called Anyway. I think it was originally, I think Mother Teresa saw it in a cafe in San Francisco. A strange story, but yeah, called Anyway. It's so good here. I want to see if I can pick it up real quick, if I can. Yeah, there's something really essential about how our life dream is kind of shaken out of us by the different systems. But if you watch a 6-year-old child, what are they doing? Like, you'll see their dream. You'll see their dream. If we look back on ourselves, Carl Jung said that, if we think about what we love doing between the age of 6 and 12, we know we can see what our life dream is and what our purpose is. And so we can think about that. Right, I'm just going to see if I can find Anyway.
That's why reverting back to our childhood is really good, because that it increases our creativity. Okay,
Right.
when we become childlike,
Yeah.
and yes,
Oh, here.
we're able to get out of our own way. Go ahead.
Oh, totally. Totally. And I think this is the thing, and it's not getting out of our own way. It's it's like neuro decolonization. It's like we have to decolonize our minds and remember like what it means to be close to the earth and close to other people in a way that is extends honor and respect. And there's a really great book by Michael Yellowbird, where Michael Yellowbird talks about neurodecolonization. He's amazing, an amazing human. I have my students do some of his work in my class. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. This is the Mother Teresa poem. Is this a good time for it, Margaret?
Please.
Okay, great. Um, I get so excited. I'm like, and um, people are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you do good, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. Honesty and frankness may make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, there may be jealousy. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often not remember tomorrow, but do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it's between you and the great mystery, and it was never between you and them anyway. Yeah, and she didn't write the poem, but it's something that I believe she had it on one of her buildings in Calcutta where she was working, but it was originally seen in, I think, a cafe in like Menlo Park or something, and in San Francisco. And she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And but I wish I knew the original author of it, but I do not know that. So if anybody knows that, that'd be great.
It's very powerful. Very powerful.
Mhm. And so yeah, it was exactly what Eric said. Be creative anyway. It's just like be creative and make things. Like what can we make and what can we create instead of you know being so destructive and not connected to reality. You know?
And the earth and the world,
Yeah.
because it can be a very lonely place, um, in isolation.
Right.
Okay, and that is depressive. But when you let the light in, you let love into your heart, and you can live a whole different life that you never even only dreamed of,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay.
Yeah. And that takes, like we were talking about earlier, that takes like the warrior work. Like love is warrior work. And how like what is the condition of my spine? What is the condition of my backbone? Do I have backbone? Do I have the capacity and the ability to say what needs to be said? I love, there was I have a friend and he said, Patrick O'Neill, he said, the truth without compassion is violence, And so my daughter has a real gift for being able to say things in a way that can be received and heard. And she has just a gift for um, complicated conversations and having them turn out well.
That's amazing. That's the spirit
Yeah.
working through her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's so amazing. Call out to my daughter.
Okay.
Meet Chunky.
And that's the wonderful thing is once we recognize our gifts, we can utilize them to change our lives and to change the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then how do we encourage, like, the whole point of evolution is that we are supposed to do better than our parents did, right? Our
Yes,
job is to, right? And our job is also to encourage our kids in their own true, authentic gifts and to like enjoy who they grow up to be and then hope that they continue to improve on the scene, you know? And so
absolutely.
my hope is that I did that, but oftentimes parents don't have that capacity or that ability, or they want a child to fulfill a dream they had or to be a person they have in mind, instead of watching and going, oh, between the ages of 6 and 12, what was my child like? What were they doing? And what did they enjoy most? And were they leading everyone in the playground? Were they like, was everybody kind of following them around? Or were they kind of like making art and drawing in the corner? Or were they outside talking to the trees? Or were they singing? Or, what were they doing? Because then you can really just encourage whatever they're doing that is a place they can get lost for hours and right? Because that's where creator is. That's where the mystery is. That's where the love is.
True. And if they didn't have that um, type of upbringing,
Yeah.
then people like you and I and, therapists and healers can fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Um, it's interesting to me too, because, I have a lot of wars in my blood, right? So I have Arabian and I also have Iranian and Middle Eastern. And then I have like Mayan and Mexican and Spanish, right? I have French and, like several different indigenous tribes in my blood. I have many, I also have, yeah, Scottish and Egyptian and, so it's just such an interesting combination, right? But it's so interesting just to look at like, oh, some of my ancestors have never broken a treaty and some of my ancestors have never kept a treaty, you know? And so it's just this like very kind of, complicated place in my being that I've been, trying to, well, not trying to, like exploring and allowing and like leaning into all of my life. But I think that there's something about like addressing our internal, like, where am I at war with myself? Where am I, and what treaties have I broken? And what treaties have I made? And what treaties am I likely to keep to myself and to others? And that's like some internal healing that is also, you know, collective healing and also global healing. And so I've done a lot of like inquiry with myself and with my ancestors and with different family members. And it's a process. Like we're just in this process of healing. And there's like, there's no end point. It's not like, oh, one day I'm going to be like, oh, da 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 da, who knows why those people, you know, made a child. We don't know why all of them made a child, but they were making them. They were making babies. So, however we're made, we can make something good out of that, you know?
It's up to us. It's up to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
We
Which
have
takes
a
us back.
choice.
Yeah. Which takes us back to our birth stories, right? Like
Yes.
there
We
was some
we
fucked up
have
shit.
it, it is, but it don't we can't use it as an excuse
Right.
to keep us down here when we want to be up here.
Right.
Okay? We use it as
Yeah.
fuel to get to where we want to go.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's
Ex-
it right
ex-
there.
expand. Okay?
That's our rocket fuel. Our rocket fuel for sure is
Absolutely. And that's why we tell these stories so that it can uplift others to show them that they can do the same thing as well.
Yeah. We all have something to offer,
Yes.
you know.
And
And
it's a
even if
travesty.
yeah,
It's a travesty if we don't realize that and utilize it while we can.
yeah, yeah. Uh, God, my friend David White he's a poet, and he wrote a poem called Fire in the, I think it has the line Fire in the Voice. And there's also a line of, knowing you can never hide your voice again. Really, really beautiful. But he has a couple of poems about the voice that are really, really powerful. And I think the key, at least for me, is that the voice is connected to the heart, right? Like that we're speaking through the heart and not through the mind, or not through, you know, our expert, our, know-it-allness, you know, but really through the heart, and wanting to gather learning, wanting to learn and understand, but also wanting to share ourselves, like I got to do today with you, Margaret.
Thank you so much. And sharing ourselves, we're sharing, we're one.
Mm-hmm.
One voice, one mind, one spirit.
Yeah.
Okay? So
Yeah.
through you, through me, we are speaking to each other.
Yeah. And our
in harmony.
interconnectedness. Yeah. Yeah. Our interconnectedness. And oh my gosh, that's one of the, things that we say in the recovery movement. There's this, it's, um, that's the key to harmony, that, the key to unity is connection and interconnectedness, and reason things out, talk with each other, be together, and I think nature is our greatest teacher about these things. And, I just think about how nothing in nature takes more than it needs, right? It doesn't, human beings are the only ones who take more than we need. And it's time for us to figure out how to do it differently. I know it's going to be a change, and new neural pathways will have to be created, and neuroplasticity will have to be engaged. But I think that, it's important that we start to stand together like trees, like cedar trees do, or, you know, like cedar waxwings, or murmurations of starlings, or, right? Mm, or a congress of, yeah, ravens, or, so I think that nature has a lot to share with us about how we can care for each other, or a pride of lions.
If we just listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the time for that, right? This is the fall, and this is the time of introspection, and going into the silence, and, harvest and gratitude, but also the time of letting go, which this is the time the leaves all are like, hey, oh, I guess our tree stuff, is taking all the nourishment so it can be fed and nourished. And now we're going to give everything we've got to the tree so the tree can live and produce another year. And, so that we can all live. That's what we want, is just, everybody has, uh, everything has life, and we all have a right to live.
Including us. Including us.
Yeah. You're so great. I just really enjoy you so much. I enjoy you. You're so great. Um, so I think exactly, including us, right? It's like, for the good of all includes us. I love that. It's like, sometimes we're like, oh, the good of all, but we're not including ourselves in the good of all. And so I really appreciate that yeah, yeah. Oh, how marvelous. How marvelous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Does anyone have any questions? because you are here, you have all of this knowledge, and we could go on for another hour, but
Oh yeah, easily.
we would have you to come back, because I would even like to know more about this decolonization, to look deeper into that, right? So we're gonna have to have you back, okay, so we can go into deeper topics.
I would love that. I would love that. Yeah, I mean, we reached way far back. There's so much, like, there's all these other places where I would love to go. And then also, I'd love to have you on my podcast and also on Sanctuary and have you as a co-teacher, maybe have you come in and if you're down for something like that.
I'll be honored.
That'd be great. That'd be great. And we can bring you in. We bring in my sister, one of my sisters, Devonna Lone Wolf, and she comes and talks about, as a teacher and, her work at the university there. And I have a couple of people who come in and do some mindfulness work. And so I usually have someone, at least a couple times a season to come and do some co-teaching with us. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited.
I am too. These are wonderful times. I love these collaborations. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, sweet Dana.
Hi, Dana. Yeah, Dana. Hey, I am honored to see Dana here.
Oh, I love her.
Hi, Lori.
Yeah, and Eric.
Beth.
Yeah.
Brenda. Mia.
So sweet.
Eric. Stamona. Dan.
Sayuli.
Sarah. Kyra. Ashley. Thank you all for coming. Phyllis, shift happens. Juliana, I had to be careful how I say that, right?
Shift happens. Well, I think, just to have a closing thought, a couple of closing thoughts, like, I think, what are the actions that I can take toward healing and, what gifts do I have that serve the dream of the earth and kind of not my own, like, how can I come, how can I come to the world in a way where I'm ready to offer my gifts for her healing and like you said, for the good of all includes us.
Absolutely. We can't leave ourselves out, right?
Right. Totally. And then the thing I would say is to, how can I create instead of destroy? Yeah.
Absolutely. No doubt. So your healing in motion, okay? Your healing journey begins with one action, not tomorrow, but today. Okay. So we need to take So we need to take a pause, reflect, and choose one way to honor your healing this week. Okay. Whether it's writing your truth, whether it's moving your body, speaking forgiveness, setting a boundary, or reconnecting with someone who sees you. Okay. So healing is a personal act with someone, healing is a personal act with collective impact. Okay. And when you heal, you model what's possible for others. We need to lead by example. Okay. And so every time we choose compassion, connection, and meaningful action, you are healing.
Yeah. And guess what? You inspire me. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you. And you inspire me as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you all for joining. And you all have a happy Halloween and a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.